She's not on any list. She vanished at exactly 6:47 p.m. I know this for certain because that was when I got her last message. Don't trust what you see. I'll explain everything, just not now. After that silence. No calls. No online status. No movement on the location tracker. Marta disappeared like she had never existed. I went to the police the next morning. They listened, nodded, took notes. Then the officer, a man with eyes like dried wood, said, "There's no one by that name or ID in our system." I laughed nervously. Figured it had to be a mistake. They mix things up all the time, right? I showed him a photo of her. Our selfie by the lake. Our text conversations. Our concert tickets. Someone must know her, I said. She lived in the dorms. Went to classes. She was part of all this. The officer flipped through everything silently. Then he asked, "Are you sure she was real?" The next day, I was called into the dean's office. "You reported a missing girl named Marta Roshkova?" "Yes. There's no student by that name enrolled here. There never was." I was stunned. I went to her dorm. Her room, empty. Clean. Like a fresh renovation. The dorm supervisor said the same thing. No one by that name ever lived here. Even the girl from her floor, the one who was at her birthday party, said, "Marta, I don't remember anyone like that." I didn't sleep for 3 nights. Sat in my room scrolling through hundreds of photos. In every one, I was alone. Her face had been erased from every frame. Only empty spaces where she should have been. And that's when the real terror began. Someone started leaving me notes. No signature. No date. Just. I started seeing the man in the gray coat everywhere. First, outside the library, leaning against the same lamppost for nearly an hour, pretending to read a newspaper. Then in the cafeteria, sitting 2 tables over, not touching the food in front of him, but always glancing up when I moved. I caught his eyes once. He didn't blink, didn't look away, just smiled, like he already knew something I didn't. I stopped going to class, stopped sleeping. Even my roommate, Leo, noticed. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said. I wanted to scream. I think I'm becoming one. Instead, I just nodded. Yeah, just tired. That night, another note appeared, slid under my door. This one was longer. They erased her because she remembered something she wasn't supposed to. Now you do too. Memory is a dangerous thing when it belongs to the wrong person. I called every number I could find for Marta. Dead ends. Disconnected tones. I searched every database, every archived student list. Nothing. It was like she'd been scrubbed from the world. I went back to the spot by the lake where we had taken that selfie. That was the last place she looked truly happy, truly real. There was something under the bench, taped to the bottom, hidden from sight. A flash drive. I didn't know what terrified me more, that it existed, or that someone had wanted me to find it. That night, I plugged it into my laptop. One folder. No name. Inside, a video file. 32 seconds long. I clicked play. The screen showed Marta pale, wide-eyed, whispering. "If you're watching this, they haven't gotten to you yet. I found out what this place really is. It's not a university, not really. It's a filter. A gate. They choose who gets remembered." She glances off screen. A noise. "If they know you know, they'll come for you. Just like they came for me. Don't trust the lists. Don't trust the staff. And whatever you do, The screen cuts to black. No ending. No goodbye. I sat in silence, heart pounding, ears ringing. Then a soft knock on my door. 3 knocks. Slow. Even. Like someone knew I just watched it. I didn't open the door. I just waited. And eventually, the knocking stopped. But I knew it wasn't over. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the video, Marta's last words echoing in my skull. It's a filter. A gate. They choose who gets remembered. What did that mean? And worse, how many others had already been unremembered? I opened my laptop again and went digging. The university's official site, the student portal, alumni records, staff directories. One by one, I started comparing the yearbook PDFs from past years to the current online listings. And that's when I saw it. Entire names gone. Faces that had been in class photos suddenly erased from history. Even club rosters, group projects, newsletters, all edited. As if certain students had never stepped foot on campus. Dozens of them, including Marta. But also someone else. A name I hadn't seen in years. Ryan Calloway. Freshman year. Political science major. Sat 2 rows behind me in Econ 101. Big laugh. Used to always wear that frayed brown hoodie. He disappeared second semester. I remember asking around. People said he transferred, but I'd seen him the week after, in the dining hall. He looked scared. And then, nothing. No social media. No emails. No mention. Like he'd been swallowed whole. Just like Marta. That note stayed clenched in my hand for hours. Not because I didn't believe it, but because I did. I wasn't paranoid anymore. I was marked. I started sleeping with the lights on, leaving my door triple locked, putting tape over my webcam, even when my laptop was shut. But deep down, I knew it wouldn't matter, because this wasn't just about being watched. This was about being erased. I tried to talk to someone, anyone. I picked Sam, my roommate. He was always skeptical, a logical guy, pre-med. If I could convince him, maybe I wasn't losing it. I laid everything out, the video, the missing names, the redacted files, the yearbook pages. He stared at me in silence for a while, then said, "You need to stop digging." "What? You think this is a mystery?" "It's not. It's a system." "You knew." He didn't nod. He didn't deny it either. Instead, he looked me dead in the eyes and whispered, "Do you remember Layla? My girlfriend from last year?" I blinked. Layla? The girl who used to bring him food between labs, leave notes in his backpack, play piano in the recital hall? Of course. He shook his head. "No, you don't. Because she's not in your contacts. Not in your photos. Not in mine either. She's gone. They pulled her." I just sat there, numb. Sam whispered. I tried to ask questions once. Just once. He lifted his sleeve. There was a faint scar across his forearm. Then the campus nurse said I slipped on ice. Told me to take a semester off. I came back. Kept my mouth shut. That night, I couldn't sleep. I watched the shadows on my wall until sunrise. Every creak in the floor, every flicker from the hallway light felt like a warning. And then, sometime past 4 a.m., my phone vibrated. Unknown number. No caller ID. I let it go to voicemail. 10 seconds later, a message. I pressed play. A woman's voice. Soft. Unmistakable. "Marta, you've come too far. You need to leave campus. Tonight. They don't need you gone. They need you forgotten. And you're almost there." Then silence. Not static. Just the sound of wind. Like a door had been opened somewhere. And something was coming through. I didn't pack a bag. Didn't turn off the lights. I just ran. Through the campus quad, past the dark windows of the science wing, toward the one place I thought might still be real. The basement archives. If they were trying to erase me, to erase all of us, there had to be a record somewhere they hadn't wiped. Some forgotten drawer. A backup. A trace. I pried the door open with a stolen keycard Sam gave me months ago, back when we thought we'd sneak in for exam answers. Now I was searching for names. For ghosts. The basement air was thick and wet, like something had been rotting here for years. Shelves sagged under the weight of dusty files, microfiche reels, yellowing photo albums. And then, I found it. A yearbook from 30 years ago. The cover was cracked. The pages brittle. But there she was. Marta. Same hair. Same eyes. Same face. Except the date said 1993. My breath caught. That couldn't be right. I flipped through more volumes. One from 2004. Another from 2011. She was in all of them. Never aging. Always a student. Always in the background. Different names each time, Marla, Marie, MT, but the same unmistakable stare. She wasn't just warning me. She was part of it. A noise upstairs. Footsteps. Not casual ones. Purposeful. Heavy. I killed the light. Held my breath. Voices drifted down the stairwell. He came this way. Locked down the south hall. If he saw the archives, protocol goes into effect. I backed into the shelves, heart pounding so hard I thought they'd hear it. My hand brushed a file. It was labeled transfer cases, irregulars. Inside, photos of students. Some with notes. Most with black XS across their faces. And one, my face. Marked. Pending erasure. Incomplete compliance. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I took a photo of the file with my phone, ripped the original page out, and ran. Up the old maintenance stairwell. Out through the back. Toward the forest that bordered the east edge of campus. The place they always said was off limits after dark. I didn't care. Because I knew now. The danger wasn't in the woods. It was on campus. I stayed hidden until dawn. Phone battery dead. Page clenched in my fist like a lifeline. And when the sun finally rose, I walked to the nearest gas station. Paid cash for a bus ride. Didn't look back. But before I left town, I mailed the page to every local paper I could find. And on the back, I wrote 4 words. For a while, I thought I'd escaped. The bus took me 3 towns over. I crashed at a grimy motel with flickering neon and a broken vending machine. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, waiting for a knock on the door that never came. No one followed. No one called. Too quiet. That's when it hit me. They weren't chasing me. They didn't need to. They had something better. Silence. Erase the files. Discredit the sender. Let the truth rot in the mailbox of some intern who'll assume it's a hoax. And if I came back, they'd make me disappear for real. So I changed tactics. Burner phone. Fake name. Online aliases. And a question I posted on every forum, Reddit thread, obscure blog, and encrypted message board I could find. Has anyone else lost time at university? Most replies were jokes. But a few. A few were terrifyingly familiar. A girl from Ohio. I found an old student ID in a thrift store. The girl in the photo looked just like me. But the year was 1996. A guy from Alberta. My roommate vanished halfway through the semester. We were told he transferred. No records. His email bounced back. No one even remembers his name now but me. And one message that stopped my heart. They tried to rewrite me too. I got out. But I still dream in their voice. Empty. Empty. Marta? I replied. Begged for contact. No answer. But the post was gone the next day. And the account? Deleted. I knew what I had to do. If I couldn't expose them from the outside, I had to go back in. Not as me. As someone new. I returned to campus not as a hero. Not as a victim either. But as a shadow in someone else's coat, with someone else's ID and a new name, Daniel Ross. Security didn't flinch. New faces in the theater arrive every semester, especially if you're from the performing arts department and you carry a fake exchange letter. I walked the halls where I once laughed, loved, and believed. Everything seemed familiar, but lifeless. Like stage props. The shadows of friends who no longer recognize you. Walls that have seen more than anyone is willing to recall. I found the archive. The real one, not the online database. It was hidden in the basement beneath the stage, behind an unmarked door. I stole the key from Professor Lee. Inside boxes. Old tapes. Manuscripts. Photos. Faces that never graduated. Students with no diplomas. Names deleted from the system, but still alive on magnetic tape. And on one of the cassettes, a scene. The same show I worked on my first semester. On-screen me. Sitting at the console, smiling toward her. Then suddenly, a cut. The frame jumps. I disappear. If not for the tape, even I would doubt I was ever there. Their system was flawless. Not to destroy. Not to kill. But to rewrite. We weren't people. We were drafts. Annotations crossed out to make space for those deemed worthy. I plastered flyers all over campus. You were remembered, even if they say you're not. You were here? You are. Look below. Beneath the stage. Truth lives in the dark. Next morning, the theater was locked. Police said, technical inspection. But I knew they were scrubbing. I ran. One last time. This time, not in fear, but in clarity. Years pass. I don't stay in one place long. I work backstage at small theaters. I light up other people's stages. Create brightness for someone else. But every night, in one theater where I now work, I leave one lamp lit after the show. A ghost light. On stage, a flyer. For those who were rewritten. We remember you. And your story still speaks. Sometimes someone walks in after a performance. Reads. Smiles. And softly whispers. Thank you. Because the loudest thing we can say to the world is not revenge, but truth. Quiet. Real. And alive. I never went back to that theater. But sometimes, when I walk through a new city and the night slips down over the rooftops, I see something familiar. A light. A single spotlight glowing in a dark stage window. Faint. Almost invisible. But still there. And I know what it means. Somewhere out there, there's another one of us. Someone who survived someone else's show. Someone who was never cast in the lead. Someone who was thrown backstage, but stayed. And I smile. Because we're not alone anymore. One night, a girl came up to me after a performance. She didn't clap. Didn't shout bravo. She held an old playbill in her hands. Her name was on the cover. And nowhere else. She said, I thought I had disappeared. But your story, it felt like someone whispering. I see you, I said simply. I thought I disappeared too, but we're here. We're still here. Now, every year, I collect stories from those who were written out of someone else's script, and we write a new book. The title is simple: Ghostlight, Monologues from the Dark. And every page is proof that even when the stage is taken away, even when the world chose another name, your truth still finds a way out. And if you're reading this, somewhere, quietly, backstage in someone else's life, know this: your light is still burning. We see it, and we're waiting for your story. Years passed. People forgot her name the way they always do when the next bright face takes the spotlight. Her fame became trivia, a memory in someone else's success story. She moved cities, switched genres, chased different lights. But me? I stayed. Not because I was stuck, but because I learned that sometimes the truest kind of power is the quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need applause to be real. I became a teacher. Not the kind with lectures and chalk, but the kind who waits in dusty wings and tells the new tech kid, you matter, even if they never say your name. One of my students, a girl with oil-smudged fingers and fire in her eyes, asked me once, did you ever want to be on stage? I smiled. I was once. But then I realized, I like building them more. She didn't understand then. She will. Because some of us were never meant to be the story. We're the ones who hold it up. The ones who catch the lights, tighten the screws, mute the chaos, keep the illusion alive long enough for someone else to feel like magic. And that's a kind of art too. So if you've ever been the shadow in someone else's spotlight, if you've ever been the forgotten thank you, the footnote in someone else's triumph, just remember, you didn't fail. You built the world they stood on. And someday, someone will build a world for you. And you'll finally walk into your own light. Not as a ghost, but as the one who turned the stage on. It's been 4 years since I last heard her name. Not in passing, not in conversation, not even in whispers. One day, it just stopped echoing. And I realized the silence wasn't empty. It was peace. I live in a small city now. Work in a community theater. Nothing fancy, just worn-out stages, chipped paint, and people who love the craft more than the crowd. And one night, after a local play wrapped, a girl from the cast found me in the booth. She looked nervous. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you. You made us look amazing out there. I know no one sees what you do, but we felt it. I smiled. That's the job. If you forget I was ever there, I did it right. But as she turned to leave, she said one more thing. No, I think the best ones are the ones you remember, even when they're invisible. I didn't say anything. I just stared at the empty stage, where the ghost light glowed, that single bulb again. And for the first time in years, I didn't see her standing there. I saw me. Not the boy she broke. Not the punchline they posted. Not the quiet one in the corner. Just a man who survived. Who created. Who healed. Not by erasing the past, but by finally stepping into a future where his story didn't need her to matter.